Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Uncle, as we probably all know already, and my presentation is going to focus on how we can support our students with dyslexia. Now, before we can even do that, we really need to understand what special education is and is not. So to start, special education does not make education easier. Sometimes it makes the education harder for them. Gifted and talented students, we need to create an enriching environment for them. On the other hand, for students with disability, they're finally able to access the education, which can be challenging and rigorous. Special education is not a lowering of the bar for the individual or the entire class. Content often remains the same, but the process and the products might look different. Special education does not equate to stupidity. Special education is stigmatized a lot, and the students realize this. We have to support and empower our learners and say everyone's different. Special education is part of growing and learning. Now, special education at its core is individualized instruction and attention, whether that's supports, advice, services, whatever. All these are to give a more quality and enriching education. Special education also meets students where they currently are. We don't try to force them into a pre-made mold. We meet them where they currently are and maximize their strengths to yield the largest educational gains. Special education is also all about making an inclusive and accepting environment for all students. It allows our learners to interact with a variety of levels of other students and interact and support each other in educational growth. Special education also helps level our playing field here. We've all seen and heard this expression before. Special education makes it so that everyone can reap the benefits of an education without still being left in the dust by only be given some supports. Now let's understand what dyslexia is, and I'm going to keep this definition very simple. In short, it's a specific learning disability that makes it hard for students to read and the associated tasks, reading, writing, fluency, etc. As teachers, it is critical that we support our students with dyslexia because literacy is everywhere in life, whether in school or outside of school. We need to be able to read to go about life. Now, where does dyslexia start? And from the research I've conducted, it seems a lot of it focuses within the brain. It's neurologically based. And it seems to be focused in this one area that is known as the insula. And the insula, from my understanding, I'm no neurologist here, helps transmit information across the left and the right hemisphere. And for students with dyslexia, there's overall less brain activity in this region, meaning information is not being shared between the two aspects of the brain. To circumvent some of these issues, let's look at some supports. One, let's appeal to our students' learning styles. If our brains are all wired differently and we already have stronger neurological pathways in our brains, let's utilize it and maximize the results of that. Next, when it comes to any sort of literacy or reading comprehension, it can't be done in a vacuum. We need to support all aspects of reading. So that means our writing, spelling, fluency, etc. Further, when we go about instruction, since there potentially is a disconnect in the brain, appeal to multiple senses, whether that's smell, touch, hearing, visual, whatever. It'll help with the encoding and information retrieval. Next, COVID has showed us one thing: educational software and technology is a must, and it will help our students with dyslexia. It motivates them more, and it helps go back to making multimedia, multisensory instructions. Just like with any education of any student, our environment needs to be a safe space and supportive and inclusive to our learners' needs. If students don't feel accepted or loved within the environment, we can't expect them to learn. And lastly, our students with dyslexia really struggle with educational organization, whether that's the physical environment of their desks or even taking notes in activities. They need that extra guidance from our teachers. Some final remarks here is this latter half has really been focused on students with dyslexia, but we have to realize that all these supports can be generalized to all students of various abilities. It does not just have to be for our students with dyslexia. And last, educators, just like our students, are constant learners for life. We need to be up to date with research and best pedagogy techniques to support all learners. And for the purpose of this presentation, are students with dyslexia. Even though we're only allowed 20 slides, I don't want to risk plagiarism. So here are my sources. Take a look at them. Everyone, it's been a pleasure to work with you all this semester. I truly enjoyed this a whole lot, and hopefully our paths will cross again in the future. Thank you so much, and take care.